Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Chapter 18, the invertebrates. We're doing the survey of life. Remember, we're in domain Eukarya, kingdom Animalia. The phylum that we're in is Phylum Arthropoda, the bugs. Remember, we said there's 1 million species of bugs. And because there are so many species of bugs, we can't just use the ordinary classification system of domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Because there are so many bugs, we need to give them more categories so they can have more classifications. And so we're not going to jump from a phylum down to a class this time. We're going to jump from a phylum down to a subphylum. In our first subphylum, we're in Phylum Arthropoda. Our first subphylum is Chilla Sarada. The chelicerates are so-called chelicerates because their first appendage are chelicerae. Chelicerae are pinchers or fangs, and we'll talk about those in just a second. Examples of animals within phylum Chilla Sarada, our first group are the horseshoe crabs. Horseshoe crabs are really interesting beasts. They're truly ancient animals. There's only about a half a dozen species of horseshoe crabs left on the planet. They are chelicerates. But they're not crustaceans. A horseshoe crab. A crab would be a crustacean. They are not a crustacean. What are they? They're a chelicerate, which are arthropods, but that's it. That's as far down the classification as we get. They're chelicerates. They're not crustaceans. Within subphylum Chilla Sarada, we do have a class, and I lied to you. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about one class, and this class is called class Arachnida, the arachnids. The arachnids, class Arachnida. The arachnids are spiders, ticks, mites, and scorpions. How many legs do spiders have? Spiders have 8 walking legs, 4 pairs of walking legs. How many legs do ticks have? 4 pairs, 8 walking legs. Mites have 8 legs. Scorpions have 8 legs. That is the deal with the arachnids. The arachnids have 8 walking legs, 4 pairs of walking legs. Remember, horseshoe crabs are chelicerates, but they are not arachnids, so they don't have 4 pairs of legs. They've got I think 6. Arachnids specifically have 4 pairs of legs. Here's a horseshoe crab. This is an Atlantic horseshoe crab. You may have actually seen one if you've ever gone to the beach, like to Florida or the Atlantic coast. This is an Atlantic horseshoe crab. They're truly ancient animals. They really haven't changed much in the last 500 million years. And when you look at them, they really kind of do look alien. They really kind of do look like something out of that first picture that we saw with the Anomalocaris, right? They're younger than that, but they're really, really interesting beasts, really, really interesting creatures. These are their eyes on top of their head. When you flip them over, you can see their appendages on the underside. I unfortunately don't have a picture of that. As we said, class Arachnida. These animals have 4 pairs of walking legs. Remember, the first appendage are chelicerae. They don't have jaws, so they can't chew. All right. This is why spiders, they inject venom into their prey. The venom is meant to kill the prey, and it's meant to digest the prey. That's how they eat. Since they can't chew, they can't bite. Well, they can bite, but they can't chew. So scorpions are the oldest arachnids, more than 425 million years old. Y'all, we're still talking about the Paleozoic at this point. This is like 200 million years before dinosaurs. That's when scorpions showed up. Really ancient, really, really ancient animals. Most arachnids are terrestrial. Here we see groups or examples of all the 4 groups of arachnids. Here's a tarantula. Let's count the legs, because how many legs do arachnids have? Arachnids have 4 pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This thing has 10 legs. It's got 4 pairs of walking legs. This front pair, they're not for walking. Those are called pedipalps, and they use them basically kind of as feelers for touching stuff. All right, so the fangs, that's the fangs right here. Those are those chelicerae. This is a scorpion, and scorpions have 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of walking legs, and then they've got their claws. Very interesting thing about the scorpions is you see something like that and you're terrified of it, right? They've got that huge stinger on the back, and it's big and it's terrifying. One thing about scorpions is when you look at them, compare the size of the claws to the size of the animal. And when you look at this animal, are its claws big and meaty, or are they thin and skinny? When you look at that claw, that is a big, meaty claw. Scorpions have 2 methods of capturing prey. They either grab it with their claws, or they sting it with their stinger. If they've got big, meaty claws, that means that is their primary method of capturing prey. And their stinger is secondary, which means their venom is probably not very potent. This is specifically called an emperor scorpion. Emperor scorpions are very common in the pet trade. Very common to be kept as pets. Yes, they can sting, and the sting is about like a bee sting. And no, I don't like being stung by bees any more than anybody else does, but a bee sting hurts for about an hour, and then it's done, and it's over with. And so these things are not deadly. But if you see a scorpion that has thin, little, skinny claws, what is its venom going to be like? And the answer is thin claws means its primary method of prey acquisition is its stinger. And so its venom is going to be really potent. So what do we have around here in Georgia as far as scorpions? We've got scorpions that are about so big. Little bitty scorpions. They do have venom. The venom itself is... I've never been stung by a scorpion. The scorpions that we have around here, I've read reports of it, and it burns and itches. You're going to live if you get stung by a scorpion here. It's not dangerous. The scorpions we have around here are about so big. They're not very dangerous at all. Way more dangerous would be like ticks. This is a bunch of ticks. This is your ordinary wood tick. If you've ever had a tick on you, this is probably what you had. Again, look at the number of legs. 4 pairs of legs on the arachnids. Ticks, the scary thing about ticks is you can get Lyme disease, right? Lyme disease. This is not the tick you get it from. This is a wood tick. A wood tick is about the size of a pencil eraser, give or take. Deer ticks are where you get Lyme disease, and deer ticks are about the size of the period on your paper. A lot smaller than a wood tick. If you do find yourself covered in deer ticks, what you can do, and you're worried about maybe getting Lyme disease, what you can do is you can go to the grocery store and you can buy a bottle of flea and tick shampoo, like for pets, for dogs and cats. Specifically, I'd recommend getting a version for cats, but it doesn't matter specifically. Get you a bottle of flea and tick shampoo and take it to your shower and wash yourself in flea and tick shampoo. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt you. Don't swallow it, but you don't swallow shampoo anyway. You're going to be fine, and it will get any of these bugs off of you. Flea and tick shampoo. And once you get done, you'll be cuddly clean and playtime fresh. Last are mites, and these are chiggers, or sometimes called red bugs. These things are awful devil spawn. If you've ever had chiggers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These things are terrible. They will dig into your skin and itch like fire. And itch like fire is that's not an exaggeration. It literally feels like fire. Wake you up in the middle of the night because it itches so bad. Mites. There's all kinds of mites. Dust mites. Just dozens and dozens and dozens of species of mites. Anyway, this is subphylum Chilla Sarada.